and welcome to another exciting episode of the Aunty Lisa Show. What shall we do a story about today? The silver bag. Oh, look. Oh, I pulled out two at once. Didn't mean to do that. Captain Blackpaw, the most fearsome dog pirate of the sea. And he's a ghost. Kristoffer, Aleksander, Aunty Lisa, obviously, goes without saying. Jack, it's good because we've got a ghost already. Sky, we haven't had Sky in a while. An Ankylosaurus. They come up quite a lot, Ankylosauruses. Wait, no. Places. Come on, be a good place. Ah, the seaside. Okay, that's not a bad place, especially since we're going to meet a pirate. And random things. Let's have a random thing. That's not that random. El Fuego stunt truck. Should I risk one more random thing? What could go wrong? A book. That wasn't that random. Right. Really need to relabel my bags. Okay. So, here we go. We have some nice people in the story. An interesting place to go. Right. One day, Kristoffer, Aleksander and Aunty Lisa decided to go to the seaside. Woohoo! I do like to be beside the seaside. It's lovely. So, it was a lovely sunny day actually. And the sun was shining and the birds were singing. Even the seagulls, who aren't good at singing, kind of go, caw, caw, caw. They were doing their version of singing. And all the children were laughing and playing on the beach and throwing beach balls and making sandcastles. And Aunty Lisa and Kristoffer and Aleksander all went down and built a big sandcastle, dug a big hole, went in the sea, came back out of the sea because it was really cold, had an ice cream. Oh, the day was going superbly when they suddenly found something sticking out of the sand. And they were like, somebody just dropped this? Couldn't see if anyone had just dropped it. It was kind of buried a bit, so it didn't look like it had been dropped necessarily just now. And they dug and they dug and they dug. And what they found was a really big, ginormous, old book. Like this. It was very creaky on account of being old and being left by the sea. And they opened it up. And inside it was a captain's log, which is not a bit of an old tree. A captain's log is where the captain of a ship writes down everything that's happening each day, like what they've had for tea, and if they've caught any fish, or if they've found any new islands or seen a mermaid, that kind of thing. And it says, Captain's log, September the 5th, 1633. Today we had fish fingers for tea, and I threw the cook overboard because I was bored of fish fingers. That kind of thing. So anyway, they found a book which was a captain's log. And inside the book, it told quite a scary tale. Everything in the book was going fine. Captain's log, went to sea, captain's log, Tuesday, had chips and fish fingers for dinner. Wednesday, had chips and fish fingers for dinner. Thursday, threw the cook overboard. Friday, realised all we have is fish fingers and chips again for dinner. Saturday, thought about throwing myself overboard. Yada, yada, yada. Didn't obviously do that. Did get the cook back on board. Sunday, forgave cook. Monday, still had fish fingers and chips for dinner. It's a nice dinner, fish fingers and chips. I used to like fish fingers and chips. But anyway, so in the story, in the captain's log, it said all the things they'd seen. So they'd seen things like a huge pod of whales had gone by the ship. And it said they'd seen what they thought was a mermaid, but they weren't quite sure. Could have been all the fish fingers making their brain go a bit addled. And then it said, we have sighted a ship in the distance. We are not sure if it's an enemy or not. And then in the next day it said, our sightings confirm that this ship is in fact a pirate ship. And the next page it said, we are trying to evacuate the ship. And then the writing just tails off. And that's where it stops. It's a bit scary. What happened to those people on that ship? Nobody knows. Well, actually, one person knows, and that is the captain of the pirate ship. And do you know who it was? Well, I do, because in the captain's log, they'd drawn the skull and crossbones with a dog face in it, and it turned out that they had fallen victim to Captain Blackpaw, the most fearsome dog pirate of the 7 seas. Well, when Kristoffer, Aleksander and Aunty Lisa read that, they were like, oh my goodness, there is a sunken shipwreck nearby that Captain Blackpaw must have sunk hundreds of years ago. We should go and investigate. That would be so cool. Well, so then they called up some friends to help them. And they called up Jack and El Fuego. And El Fuego came down on his super stunt truck. All the beach was clear by this point because they'd taken all day looking at it. And it was starting to become evening. And everyone was going home for their tea. But Aleksander, Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa were too excited to find out where the sunken ship could be. So they called up Jack and El Fuego and they were like, hey, Jack, El Fuego, we found this cool book and it tells us all about a captain whose ship got taken over by Captain Blackpaw. And Jack and El Fuego went, whoa, that's so cool, we'll be right there. So they came down and they all looked at the book together and were like, oh, this is the coolest book we've ever seen. It must have washed up just a couple of days ago, which means the ship must be nearby. I wonder if we'll find it. So then they said, well, we need to be able to scan the area somehow. Who do we know that could help us with that? We need to be able to look and hover around. And anyone got what kind of a machine would be able to hover above the sea so we could have a really good look? So Kristoffer and Aleksander both together at the same time. A helicopter! I know who's got a helicopter. Sky! So Kristoffer and Aleksander called up Sky. And Sky said, wow! Wow! We're going to go hunting for a sunken ship? That would be amazing! Okay, I'll be right there. So Sky came straight away. And she flew down in her helicopter and everyone was like, yes, we need to go and find this amazing sunken ship. I can't believe no one's found it before. Maybe the tides had changed, all the sand had moved just recently. So they went up, all of them together in the helicopter. It's thirsty work today. They went up in the helicopter with Sky and they started looking down over the sea. And at first they couldn't see anything because there was so much glare off the water. But then they got out of their not their night vision goggles, but their anti-glare looking through the sea goggles. So Aleksander and Kristoffer were like this. And they were looking down into the sea from the helicopter. Helicopter's going, doo, 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 doo. Sky's driving it, flying it, piloting it. Doo, 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 doo. And they're like, I can't see anything. How frustrating. And they were just about to give up when Kristoffer and Aleksander just went, I can see something sticking out of the sand under the sea. I think. Could it be? It's a mast of a ship. Well, this changed everything. So, it was actually getting quite dark. But what they did was they logged the location of the ship because they thought it is irresponsible to go scuba diving at night for sunken treasure. Also, you can't see what you're doing. So, they logged the location and they said, right, tomorrow, bring all our scuba gear and a boat and we'll go straight out there and we're going to find that sunken treasure. So, they all went home and had their tea. For some strange reason, Kristoffer and Aleksander and Aunty Lisa all fancied fish fingers. Aunty Lisa had a burger instead, but that's what Kristoffer and Aleksander had for their tea. And first thing in the morning, everybody met down at the beach and they borrowed a boat from Drill. Drill actually drove the boat for them and they all went out to the spot where they'd spotted the boat the night before, the sunken ship the night before. And they got on their scuba gear. There's a lot of scuba diving in my stories, don't know why. Here. Now, like, everybody ready? One person staying on the boat so it doesn't float away. And Drill said, yeah, I'll stay on the boat. Don't worry about it, guys. I won't drive off. No, he wouldn't because he's nice. So they all dived into the water. And soon enough, through the gloomy sea water, they could see that mast sticking out. Ooh, with a little flag on the end of it, all tatty, that said something nice about a captain. Captain Tim's ship. All Tims are nice. Anyway, so that's what it said on it. It had a little picture of Tim. Which, to be fair, probably had lured in the pirates because they'd have thought, well, that's easy pickings. But anyway. So, they went down under the sea and they started digging out the sand. And the sand was all billowing up. And they thought, oh, we need a better way of doing this. We could do some kind of mechanical thing. And so they went and got a special set of shovels and stuff, and they dug and they dug and they dug and they dug, and loads of fishes were swimming around by now going, ooh, what's going on down here? Ooh. And they dug and they dug and they dug, and eventually they dug out most of the ship. Well, most of the front of the ship, because the ship was huge. They dug out a big significant bit of it, and they were like, oh yeah, this is awesome, high five everybody. And they were just about to swim up to the surface when a terrifying thing happened. They heard a strange noise under the water. And it went... And Aleksander and Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa and Sky and Jack and El Fuego went... Uh-oh. Do you know who it was? It was Captain Blackpaw. He'd come to defend the ship that he'd sunk hundreds of years ago so that no one would find the treasure that was hidden on board. And Captain Blackpaw went, ahoy there, ye who enter here, be fearful of losing your ears. I will eat them. Ha ha ha. And everyone went, who was that? Was it me? They were so scared. Ha ha ha, I'm Captain Blackpaw, the most feared pirate in my living years that ever was. And now I'm a ghost pirate dog and I am more feared than ever before. And they went, ah! And they started to try and swim away. But Captain Blackpaw had other ideas, and he started sucking the water towards him. Because he's a big scary ghost. And the water was creating a current, and everybody was swimming away, swimming away, swimming away, swimming away, swimming away, swimming away. But the current was pulling them back towards Captain Blackpaw, and they were like, no, no, swim away, swim away, swim away, swim away. And he was going, and everyone thought they were done for, completely and utterly going to get annihilated by Captain Blackpaw, when all of a sudden, ruff, 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 who should appear? He hadn't even been brought along for the ride. He must have just got himself there so fast, but it was Spencer, the ghost dog, hero to one and all. And he appeared in the water, and he stood up in front, well, swam up in front of Captain Blackpaw, the most feared pirate that ever was, and he went, ruff, 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 because there's nothing scarier than a dog defending his best friends. And Captain Blackpaw went, I'm not scared of ye, pesky hound. And then, well, we didn't know this about Spencer the ghost dog, but actually he can get super angry when someone wants to hurt his friends. And he grew massive, like a ginormous version of himself, and his teeth grew really big and scary. And Captain Blackpaw went, he is a terrifying, big, ginormous doggy. I be going over there now. And just like that, it was gone. And everyone went, oh, whew, thanks, Spencer. And Spencer went back to normal size. And everyone was like, what happened to Spencer? And they thought, well, it must be because he loves everybody, especially Jack, so much that all that love gave him super strength and super power and super size and super teeth, and made him able to defend his friends. And so then everybody swam to the surface again, because they thought it's best to get out of the water. And they got to the surface. And Drill said, whoa, what happened? All the water around here started going crazy. And they explained about Captain Blackpaw, the most feared dog pirate that had ever been. And Drill said, I've heard stories about him. You were extremely lucky. Let's all go and chill out somewhere, and then we need to report this amazing find to some archaeologists so that they can investigate it properly. And so they all went back to shore. Now, you're probably wondering why I've not mentioned an ankylosaurus in this story yet, and I did pick an ankylosaurus out, but it turns out that someone had set up a brand new themed cafe on the side of the seaside. And you know what the theme of the cafe was? Well, I'll tell you. The theme of the cafe was dinosaurs. And all of the people who worked in the cafe were dressed as different dinosaurs. So they had someone dressed as a T-Rex, they had someone dressed as an ankylosaurus, they had somebody else dressed as a velociraptor and a pteranodon and all those other ones that I can't list right now. And so they went and they had a lovely snack at the dinosaur-themed cafe. And they were served by someone called Jeff, who was dressed as an ankylosaurus. And he gave them dinosaur ice creams and pancakes. And everyone had delicious drinks as well. And they all said, wow, we've had a very busy day. So I think we deserve all these lovely treats. And then they had a nice time. And they reported their find of the ship that had been sunk hundreds of years ago to archaeologists, who were so super excited they made a film about it one day in the future. And they all became world famous. And that is the end of the story. Love you. Bye-bye.